One of the most common questions that we get asked by our athletes is how to build their confidence, right? They want to know exactly how to go into performances without overthinking things, without worrying about what's going on around them, but knowing they're going to crush it. Not just kind of feeling it, but really knowing that they're going to dominate. So in today's video, we're going to cover the framework that we use with our pro athletes, the 7 things that you'll need in order to feel that confidence, in order to build that confidence, and not just in the moment, but forever. We're going to cover things such as building certainty, making sure you can have courage when you're going into performances, understanding how to take action, get results, reflect. All that will be covered today and systemized for you. So as long as you follow these 7 things, as long as you implement these in your life, you'll have the confidence that you need as an athlete so you can crush it in performances. Hey everyone, my name is Matt Calderoni, co-founder of Moliteum, where we help athletes discover and reach their true potential by building their resilience. And since 2015, we've helped just over 5,300 athletes ranging from the youth to professional level in leagues like the NHL, NBA, MLS, and so much more. So, diving into this and helping you understand exactly how to build your confidence, I want to start with helping you understand the framework because there's a couple things we need to understand as athletes. We mistaken confidence as being the thing, right? When the truth is, confidence goes up and down, especially when you're an athlete. The highest performers in the world, the ones that we work with, I'm telling you, it wavers. So you have to look at this for what it really is. And like you can see here on my screen, there is a formula to getting to this state of confidence. So let's start with understanding it. There's first certainty, then it's gonna help you build the courage that you need to take action so you can get results, which results in confidence. And this is what I wanna start by saying. Confidence is the result of getting results in the past, right? It's knowing that you have the skills and that you've accomplished something in the past to know you can do it again in the future. But the problem is this. What if you've never gotten those results before, right? What if you're going into a new team? What if you're going into a new environment? What if you're going into a new league? You don't have that confidence. It's just how it goes. It's the truth of what it is. So what we really have to understand and what we have to back it up to, like you can see here again on the screen, is starting with certainty. So certainty is building the self-belief within yourself to understand that you can go crush it and that you do have the abilities to do so. A lot of times though, we don't spend a lot of time focusing on this. We actually jump right to the end and say, well, why am I not confident? It's like, well, you're not really putting in the work to be certain of yourself. Because once you build that certainty, it's gonna move to the second step, which is giving you the courage to take action. And I think this is where a lot of athletes get it wrong, where it's like, I have to be fully confident before I go into performances. It's like, well, you actually don't. You need to be sure that you have the abilities and then courageous enough to take action. A lot of times athletes are hesitating because they're sitting there questioning if they have the abilities to do so. When you work on building that certainty though, and you have that self-belief like I'm gonna show you here today, it's going to give you the courage you need to take action so you can get the results. And that's what the best athletes in the world do. I'm telling you, from working with them here at Moliteum, from working with the greats, they don't always have that undenying confidence, but what they do have is courage to take action and to take risks, and that's what allows them to build confidence over time. Does that make sense? So, one more time, we're gonna start with building certainty so that you have the courage to take action, to get results, so you can see that you have the confidence to do so again, and that you've gotten the results in the past to get them in the future. So, let's talk about the 7 things you need in order to build this certainty so it can result in confidence. Number 1, as simple as this is, you need to gain clarity on what your role is. And this is usually what happens. We get a call from an agent the night before a really big game for an athlete, and they'll say, hey, he or she is having this big struggle, they don't know what's going on, they're not sure of themselves, we need them to perform tomorrow. Please talk to them. So we get on the phone, we talk to them, we have our initial intro, and it's like, okay, let me ask you something, so-and-so, what exactly do you need to do? And they're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, what's the outcome that you're after? Like, what are you looking to do and accomplish here? What is expected of you on your team? Like, what has to get done? And this is where they often struggle. And this is where I'm gonna challenge you right now, where it's like, if you are having these issues where you're not sure of yourself right now, you have to first ask yourself, do I even know what's expected of me? Have I gotten clear on that? Have I had that conversation with my coach, my agent, whoever it might be, to understand what I need to do? Because this is where all confidence starts, and you have to understand, if you don't know what you're doing or what's expected of you, you're not gonna take action and there's no way to build it. So, step number 1, get very, very clear on what your roles are. And the way I suggest doing this, the simple thing, go ask your coach. And if you don't really have that relationship with your coach, I'll tell you right now, go build it. Right? It's that simple. You have to be able to communicate with your coach, understand the expectations, and move from there. Number 2, once you understand what's expected of you and what your role is, You need to break that down into skills. And this is where athletes way overcomplicate things, because they go in there and it's like, oh my God, I've got to get this outcome. I've got to score a goal. It's like, okay, let's slow down for a sec though. You can't just focus on the outcomes. Yes, that's a great North Star to have, to know where you want to go, but the skills are the how. You will accomplish things based on the how, not just knowing where you want to go. You can't just focus on the end result. That's like me saying, hey, you know what? Just focus on scoring and you'll know everything you need to know about scoring. It's like, no, you got to break it down. So what we do with our pro athletes, we sit there once we understand what's expected of them and we say, okay, what 3 things go into this on the field, on the ice, or whatever it might be. And we break it down into skills. For example, if you're a goal scorer and you're somebody that is expected to be producing for the team, you break that down into what that means. Maybe that means being able to put yourself in the right positions to get to the net. Maybe that means being quick enough to be able to get to the net. And maybe that means working on your shot. Regardless of what it is, but those are 3 things you can actually practically do and work on, and that's where the certainty comes into it. So once you understand that outcome, you need to break it down into 3 skills that you know you can work at to start building your certainty behind. Because once you have these skills, the certainty comes from knowing you can trust those skills. And this is where a lot of athletes miss it. They think they just need to be sure of the outcome. When they don't, they need to be sure of the skills. So find your 3 skills, and then we can move on to the next step. Now, once you understand which 3 skills you need to be using in order to be successful in performances, you need to start visualizing them. So here's how we suggest doing it at Moliteum. Pick one of those 3 skills and focus on it for the next 30 days. Pick the one that's giving you the issue that you're questioning, that you're overthinking, or that scenario you're overthinking. The reason being, usually what we find with our athletes is that it's not that their entire game is going poorly whenever they're overthinking something or they're not sure of themselves. It's usually just one thing that sets off everything else. For example, we had an NBA player that we've been working with now for the last little bit. And one of the big things he came to us with was that he's like, oh my gosh, Matt, I've completely lost confidence in my game, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, let's break it down. We went through it. We understood the outcomes, broke it down into the 3 skills. And I asked a question. I said, so what really of these 3 skills is the one that you're not sure about? He said, oh my gosh, it's this one. And it was his 3-point shooting. All we did was focus on that 3-point shooting, and that confidence, that certainty came right back, and everything else in his game started to take care of itself. That's usually how this works, right? It's like, once you have that one thing that's back on, you're not questioning everything else. You kind of just flow with it, you roll with it. So what you need to do is find that one thing that you're unsure of, that one skill, and you need to start visualizing it. Now, what visualization does for you is build what's called neuroassociations. Now, neuroassociations are what trick your nervous system into believing that you've actually went out and practiced those skills. And the more that you practice those skills or create those neuroassociations, the stronger your nervous system becomes and the more sure of yourself that you are. So, with that being said, visualizing is very simple. We call it mental reps here at Moliteum. I'm actually gonna link a video to this where we go into depth about how to do these mental reps and how to use this visualization, but here's a short form version for you. You wanna take that one skill that you need to build certainty around, and you wanna break it down into doing 3 sets of 10 repetitions of it. The first set of 10 repetitions, you're going to visualize yourself with perfection, just executing the right technique. The second set of 10 repetitions, you're going to visualize yourself overcoming a challenge that you might be going through with that certain skill. And finally, you're going to visualize the outcome with perfection. So here's what it would look like. If I'm working on my shot, the basic thing I'm gonna focus on is my technique, where I'm seeing myself shoot the ball, puck, whatever it might be, into the corner of the net exactly where I wanna shoot it. Then I might wanna see myself overcoming a challenge where I'm beating a defender, I'm working through it, I'm seeing myself beat them, and then I'm going and scoring. The last part is then I want to just see myself scoring freely in games consistently, and I'll visualize myself doing that. That's building those neuroassociations that gives you the certainty to know that you have the courage now to take action and do that. Now, there's a key behind these mental reps or visualizations that you need to understand, and it's that you have to practice these or do these repetitions with emotional intensity, meaning that you actually have to close your eyes and sit and visualize yourself. That's the key to this, doing these skills with perfection. If you don't, you're not gonna get the results you want, it's not gonna impact your nervous system the way you want to, and you're gonna lack the results that you wanna get. So, with that being said, make sure you're visualizing 3 sets, 10 reps. I suggest doing this 5 times a week and making sure that you're actually training your nervous system. Next, you wanna actually go practice what you're visualizing in real life, meaning that you wanna go schedule yourself a session, could be 20 minutes a day, doesn't have to be that long, where you go through those 3 sets of 10 repetitions and practice those scenarios in real life, meaning that you wanna go out there, if you're practicing your goal scoring, you wanna do 5 minutes or 10 minutes of perfect shot technique. You wanna do 5-10 minutes of simulating that challenge situation you're facing, and then you wanna do 5 or 10 minutes of practicing that outcome situation you want. It's very simple. I suggest doing this 3 to 4 days a week so that you don't burn yourself out. But whenever we're doing this with our pro athletes, we literally have them doing this in their shoot around, morning skates, morning practices, whatever it might be, or if it's after a practice, you can easily take 20 minutes and go work on this with yourself or with a defender or whatever you need to stimulate that environment. Now, when you actually go practice, you need to do something called create a mental environment. Now, a mental environment is very easy to stimulate. What you want to do is actually have the urgency that you would in a game, but in practices, meaning that if you're just going out there shooting, you don't want to just shoot without any kind of urgency or intensity or purpose. You want to shoot as if you have a defender on you. You want to shoot as if you have to release it as quick as you would in a game. That way, when you do this, it's like you're actually creating that environment in your head, even if it's not going on around you. That old adage of practice like you play is real, not for what mom and dad used to say, but more importantly for the neuro associations that it creates within your mind. And if you use that intensity and purpose in your practice and you go out there and you practice these skills, you're gonna have that certainty that you need in order to have the courage to take action and get results. Next, you need to make sure that you're studying film at least 2 days a week. Studying film is one of the most overlooked aspects of building certainty because people don't love to do it, right? It's not super fun to sit there sometimes and just watch sports over and over again, especially if you've seen players that you like play consistently, right? You go watch highlight videos and so on. But the truth is this, you need to be studying how the best in the world are doing what you want to do. So what we suggest here at Mullet is picking out one role model for that specific skill that you can go watch and learn from. See how he or she is doing things. See how they're taking action on things. See what little nuances they have in their game that you can slightly add to yours. Now, I want to say this. You're not trying to mimic their entire game. What you're trying to do is look at that one skill and just study it. Don't worry about anything else that they're doing. You don't need to run like they run or move like they move or whatever it is. Just study how they do that one skill and see how you can apply it to your game. Now, the key to this is making sure that you're actually writing this down, because a lot of athletes will just watch it and be like, okay, I know what to do. It's like, no, not good enough. Have something you write down on, have a pad of paper, have a pen, take little notes. You're only gonna walk away with 1, 2, maybe 3 bullet points, but the key is finding those little details and watching it does 2 things. 1, it allows you to discover where you're going wrong or maybe what you can do better. And number 2, it's actually another form of visualizing something. You're actually seeing the athlete, watching them, seeing it in real life, almost as if you're there doing it with them, right? So take the time, watch film, do it twice a week minimum. I would say don't go past 4 days a week, just because it can get a little much. The next thing is that you need to reflect daily. Now, reflecting is a very simple tool to help you build certainty, and what we're doing with this is just tracking progress. That's all reflecting is doing. You don't need to go deep on your thoughts or whatever it might be. You can if you want, but in order to do what we're asking you here and to get the results you want and to build that certainty, you just need to keep a log of how you're progressing. So we ask 2 questions and it's very simple. Number 1, how did I progress today? And number 2, what can I do better tomorrow? What can I tweak? It's that simple. The first question is going to allow you and force you to see progress, even if it wasn't a great day. Even if you struggled that day, the progress that you're seeing is that you're actually pushing yourself. Or maybe you're seeing like, hey, you know what? That half turn I was doing before, it wasn't so good, but today, even though I didn't get the end result that I wanted, the half turn was better. And I'm not struggling with that anymore. So the tweak might be tomorrow, I need to, open up my shoulders a little more, or whatever it might be. I'm telling you though, these little progressive steps are the things that add up to one big result. And I think this is where a lot of our athletes get it wrong too when they first come to us, because we want to look for these big things, right? These big changes, but really the way this works is little progressive steps. And if you're not tracking it and writing things down, you're not going to see your progress, and that's going to lead to you just quitting on it. So keep the progress, 30 days minimum. You've got to take the time to actually go through it and track your results. Now, the final step to building your certainty, if you haven't done this before or haven't added this in, you need a consistent source of feedback, somebody that you can trust and somebody that knows the game. I think this is where a lot of athletes get it wrong as well when they're trying to build their certainty, is that they're taking feedback, but pretty much just from anybody. And if you're somebody who's trying to get to that next level, you can't do that. I'm gonna challenge you here to make sure if you are getting feedback consistently, which you have to be, I would say twice a week, once in the middle of the week, once in the end, or however you want to span it out, but you need to get this information from somebody who actually knows your sport. Don't look for convenience, look for those who will give you real feedback. Someone who's genuinely invested in your future success, somebody who wants you to be better, somebody that can actually help you. Because if you're just taking information in to take info in, I've seen this happen a lot actually with our athletes going through it, especially at the developmental side. Parents have great intentions, however, they don't really know sometimes what they're talking about or haven't played at that high of a level before, and it's okay. You need to find somebody who's played at the level you want to get to and can give you genuine, honest feedback that's not going to hurt your progress. And there you have it. You've got now the 7 things you need to do to build your certainty. And I'm telling you, all you want to do from this video, you want to see what you're missing. Add in the ones that you don't have. Because I'll say this, the pro athletes we work with do all 7 of these every single week. They work them in the way we told you, they work them in with the prescription we say. That way you're able to actually take action on it. That way they know they have a consistent source of certainty every single time they're going into games. All you need to do is follow these 7 things, and I promise you, you'll build the certainty that you need. So if this video helped you, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share this as much as you can. It helps us bring you more free content and grow this channel. And if you think we missed something, comment down below. We're more than interested to hear about it. We're more than interested to hear what you're doing to build your certainty, and we'll learn something from you as well. So if you want to work with us in any capacity, we do have links down below where you can apply to work with one of our coaches. We do have links down below that you can also purchase one of our courses, but regardless, everything's there for you to be successful. So make sure these 7 things have to be worked into each week. If you do that, you'll have the certainty that you need. Stay resilient, and we'll see you soon. So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the full podcast episode, click right here.